Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, July 3rd, 2023. The fire potential impacts for the next few days are shown here. We're still dealing with quite a bit of heat today in place over much of the Great Basin with temperatures 5 to 10 degrees above normal. Some thunderstorms will be moving through mainly northern Utah and up into eastern Idaho, western Wyoming. We also have some wind down south. Tomorrow the wind moves a little bit further southeast and strengthens a bit there in southern Utah. Still some heat in place and a decreasing coverage in thunderstorms up north. By Wednesday, a further decrease in temperatures across the north as little low continues to move across the north. And the winds decrease a bit by Wednesday as well. The past 24 hours were pretty quiet with just a very isolated thunderstorm activity near the Utah-Idaho-Nevada border here. Those storms were accompanied by a little bit of precipitation. Very quiet for initial attack as well. We've had a few fires over the past couple of days, but they've all been very small. Precipitation for the past 7 days is shown here with the inches on the left and the percent of normal on the right. It's been a pretty dry week or so over Utah and Nevada, especially across the southern portions of these states, with a little bit more shower and thunderstorm activity across the north. Current ERC conditions are shown here for northwest Utah. We can see those values have been on the upward trend for the past couple of weeks, but are still below normal, just below normal for the time of year. Same trend across southern Nevada, upward trend for the past few weeks, but still a little ways below average for the time of year. We've definitely had a slow start. We're behind the curve a bit. Sagebrush live fuel moistures show generally a similar trend. Values are at or slightly above normal for the time of year across the basin. Here in southwest Idaho, the values are just right around normal. Further south in southeast Nevada, the values are above normal for the time of year. That's pretty much what we're seeing everywhere. This morning's satellite imagery shows the high pressure centered over really southern Nevada here, bringing those hot temperatures to the entire Great Basin. For this afternoon, that high remains in place over the southern portions of the Great Basin. There is a low moving across the northern Rockies that's going to bring some stronger winds to the southern Great Basin, and then will also bring an increased chance for showers and thunderstorms over northern Utah, southeast Idaho today. We don't have any high risk for any of these events for today. Again, looking at the winds, we'll pick up a bit over central portions of the Great Basin, and some gusty outflow winds should be expected with any thunderstorms that develop in northern Utah this afternoon. Again, for the precipitation, we're expecting the showers to pop up over eastern Idaho, western Wyoming, and across northern Utah. On Tuesday, the pattern remains generally the same with the high pressure to the south and this low still kind of impacting us as it slides across the north. We do see wind speeds pick up a bit tomorrow over southern and southeast Utah. So we have our first high-risk triggers for the year over these areas with the increased wind speeds there and dry and hot conditions. Temperatures will still stay pretty warm tomorrow, although I think today will be the most widespread. We'll see the hottest temperatures most widespread across the area today and cooling a bit after today. So again, tomorrow, those winds really pick up over southern and southeast Utah and into far southern Nevada as well. We may see some thunderstorms develop here in central Utah, and we could see some strong gusty outflow winds with any thunderstorms there. Minimum relative humidities are shown here on the right, with pretty low values across the south, low teens really across Nevada and southern Idaho or southwest Idaho, slightly higher over the higher elevations in the northeast. On Wednesday, our thunderstorm coverage will decrease. The high pressure center moves a little bit to the south and east, so we'll be back into more of a westerly dry zonal flow across the basin with our temperatures still pretty warm, looking at the low to mid 90s across much of the northern valleys, but not quite as hot as it will be today. Wind speeds also decrease across much of the area. We'll still see some chances for some gusty winds on Wednesday, but really just limited to the far southern tip of the basin. Again, temperatures hotter across western Nevada and more reasonable or seasonal over the eastern half of the area. 3-day precip totals don't show very much. Really just looking for some precip over northern Utah and western Wyoming today, and then dry for a couple of days. As we head into the second half of the work week, still have the high to our south and east, and then there's another low developing kind of off the coast of the Pacific Northwest, keeping generally dry southwesterly flow in place over Utah and Nevada, but there is a little bit of moisture moving up into Idaho, which could bring some isolated to scattered showers and thunderstorms there. That will continue on Friday as that low strengthens a bit. Again, chance for storms over the north, dry southwest flow over Utah and Nevada. And that pattern continues into Saturday. We'll continue to see our fuels really having a chance to dry and cure out under these warm, dry conditions. And the high pressure remains over the southwest into Sunday. We're not really seeing any good monsoonal flow developing with this kind of four corners high setting up. It's more located over the southwest. It's not really conducive to the moisture coming up, but still dry, generally dry over Utah, Nevada, and drying out a bit over Idaho as well. 7-day precip totals really reflect a lot what we're expecting for the short term, just today, mostly today in Utah, and then as we get into the second half of the work week, we may see some thunderstorms developing over the central Idaho mountains. The extended forecast, July 10th through the 16th. So this is taking us into the middle of the month, still calling for above normal temperatures everywhere across the basin and a bullseye of below normal precipitation over the basin as well. So we're still not looking for any significant increase in monsoonal moisture, just going into a dry July. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.